What's going on, 49er Faithful, 49er fan, 49er Gang? This is your boy Niner Gang Podcast back in the building with another video. So definitely hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, turn on the post notifications so I can keep you up to date on any and everything San Francisco 49ers. With that being said, let's get right into it. Man, what's going on, 49er Chanel? Yesterday, man, what a shit show. It was bad. It was really bad. Like, every second of watching that game was painful. Number one, it was because we lost to the Raiders, of all teams, like fucking Raiders. Number two was because it tells me we're in trouble. So, everybody was saying, yeah, they're comfortable with the starters, they're comfortable with this, they're comfortable with that. We're comfortable with backups. What's going on, Brian? Like, we're comfortable with all these things, but we didn't look comfortable at all. What yesterday told me, as a whole, is we got some work. We got some work to do. Because if any of our starters go down, backups ain't gonna be able to handle it. I know most people like to come in and try to talk about the positives and what went right. There wasn't nothing positive about getting your ass whooped 34-7 by the fucking Raiders. I'm sorry. I know there's optimistic people in the world and they want to look at it like this or look at it like that or, hey, we got it. No. We went out there, got our ass handed to us by the fucking Raiders of all teams, so they're going to have bragging rights, even though it's a preseason game and it means nothing. Either way, to be honest with you, from a Raiders standpoint, this looked like a damn good game. Any Raiders content creators out there have nothing but good things to say about their team. They didn't look too bad. Raiders looked a lot better than I anticipated that they would look, but I didn't expect us to look as bad as we did. I was very disappointed, So, Trey Lance, let's start. Let's get into it. Trey Lance in the game yesterday was all right. So he was 10-15, 112 yards, 1 TD, but he did take 4 sacks. Now, hey, what's going on, CJ? Now, let me explain something about it because I watched every bit of Trey Lance because I am a diehard supporter. And I'm not going to base everything off of that, but I will tell you what he put out there on film wasn't necessarily best. And I'm gonna go percentages, and I thought long and hard. It's about 60-40. 60 on the O-line and 40 on Trey. The reason being, he was extremely indecisive out there. And I don't understand, what's going on. It was confusing to me because I was sitting there like, yo, this don't make no sense. Why are we looking this bad? Like, our O-line was trash. The Raiders was killing us. And I think it was Jordan Willis who is now on their team. He made us pay on the play yesterday. But the whole time I'm watching the game, I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, the Raiders either have blanketed coverage or Lance is literally just that indecisive. Is Lance a lock to beat out Brandon Allen? I'm going to need you to calm all the way down, third string All-Pro. You need to relax, bro. Brandon Allen ain't got shit on Trey Lance. And I'm not going to base the number one reason I'm holding Trey Lance accountable is because there were too many times that I saw that he looked indecisive. And that was the thing. It didn't look like he could avoid the rush. It looked like he was very hesitant. And if you notice, as the game went on, he started to get into a rhythm. So it starts to make me believe that Trey Lance is a bit of a slow starter. Like his first couple of throws and whatnot, it's not going to always be on point. But the other thing is as well, that O-line was trash yesterday. It was horrible. I'm telling you right now, if these are our backups, we're fucked if anybody goes down. Because nobody out there looked worth the damn. I'm sorry. That to me it did not pan out very well. The O-line looked really bad. They got bullied in ways you can't imagine. I just looking at it from an offensive standpoint, you have to try to look. Once again, you got to look at the pros. You got to look at the cons. So Trey Lance out there. Here's my complete assessment of Trey Lance is very simple. You were too indecisive. You need to pull the trigger a lot quicker and learn how to avoid the rush, son. You got to figure it out, man. You can't go out there knowing that all the talk has been about how good he's been in training camp. But you go out there, your O-line don't look too good, and you holding on to the ball. At the end of the day, any quarterback with a brain in their head knows, hey, if I go out there and this O-line look like shit, that means I got to get this ball out quick, and I got to make split decisions like fast. I don't have the time to relax and take time and go here, go there, do this. I don't have that time. I have to, at a bare minimum, make sure that I get that ball out quick and make sure that I don't take sacks. For him to take 4 sacks is bad. And there were a couple of those sacks that were on him. I'd say it's probably about 50-50. Because the first sack that he took, he was just like, he's trying to step up into the pocket. And I know one thing Kyle was talking about was trying to get the quarterbacks to hang in the pocket a little bit longer. What's going on, Rick Diaz? But the main issue about that is you can't hang in a pocket that doesn't exist. So while he would say, hey, we want guys to step up and, we want guys to hang in the pocket longer, I got a bunch of backups who are getting fucking murdered. I'm not hanging in that pocket. I'm not trying to step up in that pocket. I'm trying to get away from it because it doesn't exist. So did Trey play good? He did all right. The touchdown pass, he had one interception that was dropped, and that was very Jimmy-esque because that linebacker was right there in his line of sight the whole fucking time. I don't know how he didn't see him. That was a bad throw. It should have never happened. What do you love about Trey Lance? He got up at the podium and criticized no one but himself, which is how you like it, and that's how you want it. But at the end of the day, I didn't want you to be up there criticizing yourself, young man. I wanted you to be up there saying that you did the best you could with what you had. But Trey didn't give himself any kind of breathing room, to be better, what I'm saying, than what Sam Darnold was, and yeah, they gave Darnold maybe third quarter, a little bit of the fourth, if that, and then they threw Brandon Allen in. So neither one of them got, as much playing time as Trey. And that's honestly, that's how it should have been. So I can respect Kyle Shanahan for that. Yes. Give Lance that whole first half. But all this tells me right now is they rolling with Brock, and you are becoming an afterthought, young man, and you need to change that. Your only way to change that is when you play these preseason games. Now, mind you, they gave you the start this time. They may or may not give you the start next time. You know what I'm saying? I know some people like to, hey, good morning, Mom. I know some people like to say it's, that there are certain games that are dress rehearsal games, all that stuff. Yeah, you'll see Brock maybe a series or two, if that, but you're not going to see a lot of them. And for everybody out there that's supporting Trey Lance, remember, I'm not shooting on him. I'm just calling it like I see it. I don't care who you are on the team. If you look bad, you're going to look bad. That's it. So Lance, you got to step your game up, man. You got to know you're playing with these backups. You got to build a better rapport, and you got to be able to do some things to be able to separate yourself from those other two QBs and Brandon Allen and Sam Darnold. Now, you have the luxury of being the third overall pick by us, so we should be giving you the respect that we just gave you this game. But the thing is that leash ain't going to be really, really long. It's going to be a short leash for you. And at this point, it don't look good. So Lance played okay yesterday. A lot of indecisiveness, holding on to the ball too long. I did not like it. But at the same time, I'm not going to say that's all on him. At a very, very, very small minimum, that O-line was ass all night yesterday. Like, the Raiders just ate us alive. They killed us. Shout out to the Raiders for having an improved defense. I'm not mad at that. Do what you're supposed to do. Get out there, Continue to improve. Do what you have to try to get better at some point because you're in the toughest division in football. You have 3 other quarterbacks that all make Jimmy Garoppolo look like shit in that same division, and they're not playing. So I appreciate what you did yesterday, but you have got to get better, young man. I'm sorry. I need you to be a lot better than what you were. It hurts my heart to be able to say that, but I'm not going to sit up here and, pick up a pile of shit and call it fucking rainbows and sunshine. That's not what it was. And I am sorry, but that line, once again, if you look at it like this, start with the quarterback. I already said what I need to say about Trey Lance. Not going to keep harping on it. Not going to beat the kid down. Didn't have necessarily the best game. Looked very indecisive. And you got to, the number one thing, just let it rip, bro. If the mistakes are made, things that just let it rip. You just got to, the indecisiveness ain't going to work, man. You know what I'm saying? You got legs, use them. Figure it out. Do something, but you can't stand in that pocket and just keep taking them hits. And if once again, as a quarterback, if your O-line is ass, you're going to have to know that you're going to have to make shit happen outside of the pocket. You're going to have to move around a little bit. You're going to have to do some unorthodox things. You've got to do that to be able to make yourself look better. Hey, what's going on, CarCast? So, don't worry, Rick. I'm definitely getting to that. So let's go ahead and talk about the running backs. People, what have we been hearing about TDP? He's looked great. He's this, he's that, blah, blah, blah. Nah. TDP had 9 carries for 29 yards. His longest run was 9 yards. TDP didn't look good. Jordan Mason didn't look any better. That's what I'm saying. Like these guys did. Run game was all but non-existent. We had 69 yards. It was all bad. Like it looked horrible. There was nothing that we could really do. Our run game was ass yesterday. It just didn't pan out very well. Sorry. Don't look good at all. And then, when you go and you switch over to the receiving, here we go. Ronnie Bell, 3 catches for 58 yards. You know what I'm saying? On 6 targets. Chris Conley, 3 catches, 47 yards on 4 targets. Fumagalli, 2 for 30. Winstead, 2 for 22. Ross Dwelly, 3 for 18 with the TD. And the touchdown pass that Trey Lance threw wasn't necessarily a touchdown pass. It was technically supposed to be an interception, but it bounced off of the defender's hands and right into Dwelly's. So everybody started celebrating, and I was like, what the fuck just happened? Because I knew where Trey Lance was trying to go. I did. The defender made a great play on that ball to be able to get back there, because had he not tried to make a break on that ball, that would have been just a pure touchdown. I saw exactly where Lance was going. I'm not mad at him for that. But I'll tell you this, it didn't, like, when that happened, we were like, whew. Now, don't get me wrong, a luck touchdown is still a goddamn touchdown. People gave Jimmy credit for all the fucking years for a lot of the lucky shit he did. I'm going to give Trey Lance credit for this lucky touchdown. It was a touchdown. It is what the fuck it is. That's just how that worked out. I feel like Ronnie Bell kind of separated himself a little bit. He looked all right in the return game. He didn't look spectacular. But he also, opened himself up to be the guy behind, that may possibly be our returner outside of Ray, because Ray's out for eight weeks with that wrist, that broken wrist. So I like what I saw from Ronnie Bell. A couple of times that there was an interception, though, that was on him. It was on nobody else. That ball should have been caught. It was a laser right into his hands. He let it slip through, and that's where that interception came from. So I'm not going to be mad, at anybody for that. That was unfortunately, him. He did that. He should have caught that ball, and that was the case. Latu, bruh. I don't know what's going on, but you better get it together. Got to get it together, Mr. Latu. Didn't like that. You get what the thing about preseason games is, no, they don't count towards your season record. But when you're new to the team, this is your audition. This is your opportunity to put something on tape that says to coaches why you should stay. Just because you were drafted doesn't mean shit. You can get drafted and get cut real fucking quick, But Latu didn't look good with that fumble that he had. I didn't like that at all. Once again, offensive line looked like shit. Receivers were okay. I do believe Connolly and Ronnie Bell definitely pushed to solidify a reason why they should be on the squad, and I can appreciate that. You know what I mean? It's definitely just really, really hard. What's going on, No Border Sports? Appreciate you jumping, coming in, hanging out with your boy. But it just, the offense looked bad. We did as a whole, man. When you look at the other quarterbacks, Sam Darnold, 5 of 8 for 84 yards. All right. Brandon Allen, 5 of 8 for 36 yards. All right. And he had that interception that, technically speaking, wasn't really his fault. So when you just look at the offense as a whole, we were very, very subpar. And it was not a good performance yesterday. We looked bad on all phases. Defensive side of the ball. We didn't look too good there, McCrary Ball led us with 6 tackles. He was tied with Jalen Graham for the most. Womack had 4. We looked basic. You know what I'm saying? We had 1 sack. Cleveland Farrell did shit. The Raiders fucked around and had 4 sacks. We just looked very, very bad. It wasn't the best of games. Didn't see anything from the defensive line that would make me think that these backups are going to be that great. Rotational times, I'm pretty sure we're not going to get a lot of pressure on the quarterback. Not with that performance. There's not going to be a lot to do. When those rotational guys come in, we're going to have to figure it out. This just tells me the urgency to sign Nick Bosa just skyrocketed from just that preseason game. It's already up in the air, like we need to do it ASAP and do it now. But now, if anything, John, Parrott, whoever's working on that contract, get that shit together, get it together now. We cannot go into the season with, the line, and then no. You better give Nick his goddamn money. Stop fucking around with him. Okay? At the end of the day, he's a Bosa. That's why he's holding out and he's able to go ahead and kind of work this way. Then at the same time, you got to remember, man, y'all forget that Nick Bosa's, I think it was a uncle or somebody was in the fucking mob. I don't know, man. Shifty, what's going on, baby? It was an all-around bad game. Jake Moody, once again, another guy hyped up in camp. He's booting 60-yarders, all this other shit. You missed 2 chip shots? These weren't hard field goals, people. These weren't 60 yards field. These were simple shit. And you missed. I don't understand that shit, man. I don't. But I can tell you right now, this is possibly the reason that Zane Gonzalez is still here. Do kickers miss field goals? Yes, they do. But not from the distance that Jake Moody was kicking from. So Jake Moody, you look like shit yesterday. All bad, sir. All fucking bad. 0 for 2 on your field goal. And it's simple shit. Like, these weren't hard field. These were chip shots, people. Stuff that Robbie Gould could make in his fucking sleep. And I don't understand what happened. Why? So, for me, it was all bad yesterday. Shout out to the Raiders. We all know how injury-prone Jimmy Garoppolo is, but Aiden O'Connell looked damn good. Or at least we made him look great. Aiden O'Connell balled yesterday, people. He didn't look bad at all. Aiden O'Connell was 15 to 18 for 141 yards. He had a touchdown. That man had 117.8 quarterback rating. He ain't look too bad. Not at all. You know what I mean? They had 120 yards rushing combined. You know what I'm saying? They ran a couple of dudes. They had Amir Abdullah and Zamir White. Some dude named Sincere McCormick. Every time I hear the name Sincere, there's somebody, I think there's somebody in the movie. I can't remember who the fuck it was. Oh, Belly. Belly. That was Nas's character, Sincere. You know, on the defensive side of the ball, man, didn't look too bad. You know, they had 5 tackles for a loss. They had 4 sacks. You know, and those sacks weren't amongst one person. It was crazy. You know, I mean, all those sacks were on Trey Lance, but it just, you know, like I said, a couple of them are on him, a couple of them are on the O-line just for folding. So, if anything yesterday explained to me, it was very simple. You know, I'm not happy with what Jake Moody did. I was not happy with our defense. There was nobody that stood out that made me say, wow. I mean, a little bit of Ronnie Bell here and there. I can appreciate what he did, but I don't have positive things to say. Not to get your ass whooped 34-7, especially by the Raiders. You know, Deshaun Jameson looked all right. You know, this was not a good game. I was extremely disappointed. I waited all year long for that. Now, here's the caveat to all this. Can I truthfully say that this would be Trey Lance with our starting O-line? No. Can I truthfully say that this would be Trey Lance with the array of weapons, i.e. your Brandon Ayuk's, your Debos, your Kittles, your CMCs? No. But I can tell you, this is your only opportunity to audition, young man, and you got to give it everything you have, because Kyle Shanahan is not looking to afford you another chance to get on that field and be a starter in any way, shape, or form if you can't go out there and beat some fucking backups. Kyle Shanahan already relegated you to the bench for a dude who played, 8 games, won them all, and everybody thought he was great. What's going on, Flo, right? I can't – it hurts my heart to see this happen. Truthfully, it does. And I'm just a little frustrated at the fact that we didn't go out there and kick the Raiders' teeth in. I mean, at the bare minimum, even if we came back scrappy and we won, that would have been nice. Just to punch them right in the mouth, get a scrappy win. That's cool, but we did nothing. Like, yesterday gave me no hope that our O-line was going to be any better if anybody went down. It didn't give me any hope for the backup defensive linemen, nothing for the linebackers, nothing for the DBs. Nobody out there stood out. There was not a player from the 49ers who looked overly fantastic. The only person I can tell you right now that was memorable from that game in any way, shape, or form was Ronnie Bell. He did do a little bit to try to stand out. You know what I'm saying? If you look at Ronnie Bell's numbers, he had 1 carry for 15 yards. He had 3 catches for 58 yards. So already right there, what is that? 73 yards from scrimmage. You know what I mean? When it came to the return game, he had 3 returns for 57 yards. So he went over 100 all-purpose yards between his catching, his running, and his returning. You know what I'm saying? Nobody did shit in the punt game, but that's because punters have learned how to hang that motherfucker in the air for God knows how long. So, I mean, it was bad. It was really bad, man. We did not look good at all. I'm very disappointed in what we have. We got to be a lot better than that. I do not want that to be a situation where we are just allowing these things to happen, man. I don't want that to be the case, because as much as I love this team and as much as I want to see us succeed and win, it just breaks my heart that we are not able to do things the way we're supposed to do them. You know what I mean? I'm sitting here talking like this, and y'all been able to hear me this whole fucking time. My mic been way the hell over there. I'm so sorry. But I'm going to put the link in the chat, man. If y'all got a couple things y'all want to add, I got a little bit of time. I'll give everybody a couple minutes, try to keep it short, keep it sweet. If anybody wants to come on and hang out, you know what I'm saying, and say their piece real quick, you all good. I know, CJ, you had some things you wanted to say. I'll give everybody a few minutes to kind of speak their piece on it, but it sucks, man. It sucks when you go out there and lose like that. And I was really banking on Trey at least looking good, man. I was hoping that the man could do some things that would, kind of shut the haters up, but he gave the haters more reason to be out there and, doubting. Once again, I can't say that I'm upset because the O-line was trash. I can't say that I'm going to say that Trey Lance is, not that guy and he's not that great. But what I can say is it's frustrating, very frustrating when, you kind of look out there and you go, damn, this was the kid's opportunity and look at the shit he had to work with in front of him. Shout out to Flo Wright. Flo Wright says, Dion, can you tell me if Kyle knew Brock would not play versus the Raiders, why didn't he give Trey reps in the joint practice? Well, the situation with that is simply because, James said it. Yeah, he knew Brock wasn't going to play. Like they've known that Brock is their starter since the end of the season. The minute he ripped his UCL, they were like, okay, this is the guy going forward. I've said this all off season, and I don't know why people were acting like I didn't say this shit, but or as if they didn't know it. If you listen to me, if you watch me, believe me, I'm gonna tell you the truth of what Kyle Shanahan is saying because he's gonna lie to you on a consistent basis, as he lies to the media all the time. It was very simple. I saw what I needed to see from Brock Purdy. That's my guy. I'm not going back to Trey Lance. I'm not going to give him an opportunity. I'm not going to give him a shot. The only way Trey Lance hits that field week one as our starter is if Brock Purdy has had a setback. And I have no other option. What's going on, Beto? But that's literally it. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing and no one that can do anything to tell me different. So it's very frustrating. What's going on, John V? But, I got my man No Border Sports in the building. What's going on, Ryan?
What up?
You there? You muted yourself, though. Yeah, I think I lost him for a second. All right. Once he gets back in there and I see him moving again, I'll bring him back through. But basically, that's what it was, man. It was a situation where you knew, okay, there he is. Yeah, he's good now. He's good now. But man,
sorry, my phone was pumping YouTube at the same time. I never had to do that stuff before. Where I
weird shit, man.
So I was like, I muted that. I'm trying to figure out how to shut YouTube down. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, man, bro. That was rough. It was very hard to watch. What are your thoughts, man?
Well, there's no real true cause for concern unless nothing gets fixed by next week. If we can't see progress, I like seeing Braden Willis. I like seeing Ronnie Bell, Tay Martin, like Braden Willis and Ronnie Bell, both on special teams. Like those guys, I'm telling you, they got their spot set already.
Mm-hmm.
The Cameron Latu fumble, that was sad, but hopefully, the way I see it, he's the replacement for Charlie Warner. He's big enough where it seems like he can block. Maybe not as well as Charlie Warner, but he can block. And he's got better hands than Charlie Warner as far as catching goes.
Yeah.
So I think he's pretty safe. I think he's like a replacement for Kittle in the future, but he obviously doesn't have the talents yet, and I think they're fine with keeping him on the team until then.
Mm-hmm.
I was really depressed about what our defensive line did last night or didn't do.
Yeah, we didn't do anything. There was no pressure.
We're supposed to be the depth kings when it comes to defensive line, and we got pushed around by their second stringers.
Mm-hmm.
Our offensive line's weak when it comes to our twos, but damn.
Bad, bro. Like that's what hurt me so bad was because the fact that it was just insane how we just got bullied. And that's why I said I watched the game and I criticize everyone. Nobody's gonna, walk around here free. It's not gonna be some bullshit. But at the end of the day, a lot of that was that O-line. O-line looked bad. You know what I'm saying? And third string all pro, Lance is better than Jimmy. He has more upside. The thing is that Jimmy he's had more reps. He's been able to play, along with the fact that he sat behind Tom fucking Brady. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm not going to sit up there and say it's great, but I can tell you right now, put Brock Purdy in with that same O-line. Tell me if he looks that great.
Hey, did you jump out your seat like I did when Trey Lance threw that little shovel pass?
I like that little jump pass. I love that.
I was like, that's why you're here, bro. That's why you're here.
I'm okay with that.
I thought he was going to take it to the corner. I thought he was going to try and go up the sideline with it, and like last second he like almost no look passes it, and I was like, that's the guy. Always looking to pass down the field, even when it looks like he's totally going to just run for it. It's so going to make people be honest. If he gets any time during the regular season, they'll be like, we can't just assume that he's running, because if he finds some open guy, he's just going to flick it to him.
Yeah. I just saw what he did, man, and it was just I just looked at it like this, man. Sometimes now I could be a diehard Lance supporter and be on some extra shit and say that they're setting them up to fail and this isn't, they did this on purpose and all this other stuff. I could do all that, but for what? I'm not going to sit up here and lie to myself. The kid looked hella indecisive.
If they were setting him up to fail, Kyle would have called plays like he did last year.
Yeah.
Kyle called plays like I wanted him to call for Trey Lance last year. Mm-hmm. He moves him around the pocket a little bit. Also asks him to stand in the pocket and make throws. This is how you get the man better. You give him a mix of what he's used to, and you give him a mix of what he needs to learn and get better at. Yeah. And I thought Kyle was doing a great job of that. Yes, everybody's talking about, the runs, this and that. I don't really care. Yes, it gets our offense going, this and that. I kind of wanted to see if Trey Lance has got those intermediate throws. Do you know what I mean? And that seems like he excelled at I wouldn't say excelled, but he did great at the intermediate throws yesterday for the most part.
He looked better at those shorter throws. He did. He looked a lot better than people gave him credit for. I guess I have to say I couldn't expect much less when it comes down to it because of the situation that we have right now. Trey Lance barely got any run with the ones in general. When they put him out there, they knew he wasn't going to be that guy. As far as being out there with the starters with the whole line and shit, it was just a frustrating game to watch. I was really banking on seeing some things from some of our backup defensive guys. I was looking for someone to really stand out.
Tyler Brown.
The only person, Brown, he was all right.
He didn't like make all the plays, but if you go back and look, he's in on at the end on all of it. So
he was around the ball.
Yeah, he's definitely around the ball, which is a good sign of a good safety.
Good that they're always good that he's around the ball. My number one thing was while you're around the ball, that's fine. But I really was banking on us at least having one person say, I'm him. Nobody did. The only person I can say that really did anything that impressed me is, like I said earlier, Ronnie Bell. Ronnie Bell looked pretty good.
Yes.
He did. I'm not mad at him at all. Ronnie Bell looked pretty good, but the interception, that's on him. You got to catch that. That's not nobody else's fault but his. That ball went right through his hands. You should have caught that and tested it. That right there, I can't give him an excuse.
Well, I'll give him a little bit. Like, it could have been placed better, but it hit his hands. He should have caught it. You know what I mean? I'll give him a benefit of doubt. It could have been placed better, but at the same time, in an NFL game, you got to catch what comes in your area. You know what I mean? It really is that, and
you do.
I think that's a learning moment for him. You know what I mean? It's something for him to go back to the lab and think about, and I got to make sure I get those, because look what can happen if I don't.
Yeah. And I mean, okay, look, Beto, don't do that. Don't tell me that Sam Darnold looked more poised than Trey Lance, okay? Because by the time Sam Darnold came in, he's facing third and fourth stringers.
Sam Darnold didn't have as much pressure, but
And he ain't
Thanks
had
for that.
nowhere near the pressure that Trey Lance had. I said it earlier in the video. You had just kind of came in here. I did. I gave Trey Lance his due. I told him I said how bad he looked. Here's the situation. Trey Lance had to be a little bit quicker with his decision making, and but at the same time, that O-line was trash. But don't my number one
was hot garbage.
I don't need people trying to put Sam Darnold on the fucking pedestal over Trey Lance. You know, the reason why is because this is what people want. This is what the media wants. This is what the world wants. I'm going to call it like I see it. I said that Trey Lance did not look good at all. Several of those sacks that he took were on him.
Yep.
He does need to get the ball out of it, but at the same time, Trey Lance was facing dudes that were like, these were like almost first string guys for the Raiders. And our line was trash. So with all of that on Lance, no. But I'm not going to sit here and say that Sam Darnold looked more poised than Trey Lance when he didn't face the pressure that Trey Lance did. If you put Sam Darnold in the same way you put Trey Lance in, I guarantee you he's going to be like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And Darnold didn't look that much better. Like he didn't do
came out in the first half.
Yeah, he didn't do anything that made himself stand out that far. So while I respect it, and it's all love, Beto, don't do that, man. Don't jump on that train and start being the guy of Trey Lance sucks. That's not the case. Sam Darnold did not look more poised than Trey Lance. He just didn't face the fucking pressure that Trey Lance did. That's all I'm saying. It's all love, man. But I don't like when people do that. Like, don't put a guy up on put another guy up on the pedestal to make the other guy look bad. That's not okay.
Dion, just don't block him because you have a different opinion, though.
No, I would never do that, man. That's my dog, man. You know what I'm saying? It's all love, but I just
that.
Yeah, well, yes, James, you are 100% correct. They were trying to shop James. Definitely was not the way to fucking do it at all. Yeah, you're not. Nobody's buying shit from this dude. Nobody at all. It just for me. I really hope that Moody was going to make those 2 kicks. I just don't understand how you booting 60-yarders in practice, and you're in a stadium that's enclosed. There's no wind here. There's nothing going on. There's no reason you should miss these kicks. If you're booting 60-yarders in practice outside, then there's no reason that you shouldn't be able to boot a couple of fucking small ones inside. That was bull.
I think it's all nerves because it has to be nerves. Because, like you said, he's booting 60-yarders, doing all this. We haven't heard him missing like
nothing.
That. Two kicks in a row. No. Yeah, we haven't heard anything like that before. So I think it was nerves. My concern is he going to be able to get over it quick and it never come back?
Yeah.
Or is he going to have these nerves that it's going to affect him at times throughout his career?
There you go.
That's my only real concern right now without seeing him repeat again. If he repeats, we got an issue.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If he comes down and does a great job next week and this and that and, keeps on just, putting down good games, then this will just all be out the window. We'll be joking about this game when he's kicking a game winner 65-yarder or something like that. You know what I mean? Remember when he missed the 2 in the you know what I mean? So hopefully that's what the situation is.
Yeah, we want to be doing that. And yeah, like the national media just is going to destroy Trey Lance. I already saw Dan Orlovsky's dumbass on TV talking about, I don't think he can play in Kyle Shanahan's offense. First of all, Dan, you see him with backups, all backups. Not a single starter. And once again, you're jumping right back on the same train that everyone else is jumping on. You're judging him based off of when he's not playing with the actual guys. If Trey Lance looked like this with our starters, then yes, automatically there's a problem. But those are our starters, people. These are backups. And what this tells you is what preseason people is strictly for evaluation of talent. That is all it is for. It means nothing. It doesn't go against your record at all. I think who is it? The Ravens have like an undefeated preseason, like for the last like 10 fucking years. That's lining well. Yeah, go ahead.
I got to go here pretty soon, but I wanted to point this out. One way to figure out who the consistent receivers are is seeing who is thrown to consistently by all the quarterbacks during preseason.
Yep.
And if you look, Ronnie Bell,
Chris Conley,
Ross Dwelly, Tay Martin.
Yeah, Tay Martin, guys. He did good too. He did.
I just want to give that shout out. Thank you for having me come on, Dion. Everybody in the chat, thank you for staying live and hot. Make sure to smash the like button, put our guy on. Have a wonderful day, guys.
Appreciate it. Thanks, man. But yeah, man, preseason, what I will say is preseason strictly is just evaluation. You know, you don't use preseason to say that this guy is great with starters. You just look at preseason and say, can this guy do X, Y, and Z? And if he can, then that helps me in my evaluation of him and whether I should keep this person on or off the team. Now, by all means, that first preseason game wasn't good. Didn't look great. And I agree with you here, James. You know, fuck the national media. They do the same things. They just ride the hot thing. That's what they do. That's what it is. Those meetings in the morning are all about negativity to an extent. Like if you had several players get in the shit over the weekend, somebody was in a club and something happened or they did this, that's all they would be talking about. They don't care. It's all about hot takes and how they can get themselves to be, you know, doing certain things. He's got to show us something though. And I'm telling you right now, if they say, hey, let's figure this out, you know, what do we look like next year, you know, this next game? All right, Trey, we're going to do it again. 2 quarters. It's all you. Show me something. It hurts because the guy isn't out there with the starter, so I can't really give him a true evaluation. But you have to give us something, and you got to help yourself while you are out there. There's nothing we can do, you know, about the situation currently. You just got to work with what you got to work with, and you got to get out there and show them something. I need you to win, man. I need you to win in ways you can't imagine. I don't want anybody having anything negative to say about you, because that's going to suck, man. You know what I mean? It definitely is hard, you know. Carcass says, look at the other teams in the NFL. Chiefs played Mahomes. Jack started Todd, you know, T. Law. Saints started Carr. Yeah, no, they ain't going to do that, man. They're not, because the number one issue is they're not going to risk the starters. They're not doing that. They want no parts of that. You know, hey, what's going on, media? You know, but I'm going to bring in my homie James. James Darnell been in the chat on fire, man. He's been, you know, hitting up great points right there.
Yo, man, how's it going?
What's going on, man? I got you right there. You good.
Champion. Yeah, after last night, I mean, it annoys me in certain podcasts that we get on the Trey bandwagon, the Brock bandwagon, and it's like we haven't seen enough from either of them to know what we have. I mean, I'm convinced we haven't got our franchise QB on this team.
I agree.
I mean, we can always hope for the best, but to a certain extent, Brock's arm's now limited. I think after that surgery, and you've also got Trey, who hasn't had anywhere near enough snaps to be anything anywhere near consistent or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But jumping on a bandwagon before you actually say, before you can actually see what you say, you know what I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, with this national media as well, bagging on him, that really annoys me.
Hey, man, Carcast said you look like Jason Kelsey. I'm not going to lie, man. You could jump in and be one of the Kelsey brothers, man. You could.
Yeah, more pounds will stick on the center, huh?
There you go.
Yeah, like I say, I think I'm definitely off the Trey Lance bus at the moment.
Yeah.
I really don't want to give up on the dude after what we gave up for him, but it's to a certain extent. What are we holding out? We waited 3 years, and you've shown us 3 or 4 brilliant throws, and the rest of it's not worth the first round pick. You know what I mean? Like with. Do you think the playbooks are the same for Brock and Trey?
No, playbooks are totally different.
That really was a glaring problem to me last year because treating Trey like a fullback, like a glorified fullback, was. I mean, he was an injury. You were just begging him to get injured so you can get Jimmy back in the field. That was essentially what I was doing. But it's like now Jimmy's gone. It's like I don't blame him for announcing Purdy as the starter. At least you've made some decisive decision in your organization.
Yeah, at some point.
But on the other hand, like you've gave up this bag for this kid, and you've give up on him, like after you've redshirted him and then run him through like a meat grinder.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's
stuff that I've seen from Trey Lance because I've watched all of his games. I've been very, very close about him. I've seen everything. So I've seen more than enough from Trey Lance. And here's my thing with it. The Cardinals, the first time we saw him, he threw the first touchdown of the season when he got drafted.
Yeah.
He was the one that was him to Trent Sherfield versus the Lions.
Yeah.
The next thing we hear is Kyle said he wanted some packages. The team revolts. No, don't do it. We don't want that. All right, fine. Not going to do it. Next thing that happens is we sit there and Trey Lance comes in and plays against the Cardinals. That was like the worst game plan I've ever seen put together for a quarterback. I was at that game and I was pissed off because it just didn't make sense.
Wasn't the first thing he had him do was on we like 3 yards away from the goal line. He had him run straight into Buda Baker or someone.
Mm-hmm.
It was one brutal hit as well.
Yeah,
and I was thinking if you were willing to treat your prospects like this, who the hell would want to come to this team in the future?
Very true, man. So here's the thing. The craziest thing about that is, and no, Flo, right? He did. Kyle Ben said Purdy is the starter. Yeah. He didn't say that in 50 different ways. Just because he didn't literally state in specific words, Brock Purdy is our starter. It's written on the wall, bro. You don't give if a guy's not a starter, you don't give him all of the first team reps and then give a little bit to everyone else. If a guy is not a starter, you don't talk about him the way that Kyle talks about him. Like, if a guy is not a starter, then why wasn't he on the field last night? Purdy is definitely the starter. I've said this before, and I'll stick to it. Purdy is our starter, barring any setbacks with his injury. That's it. There is no question to guess. We all know how Kyle moves. We all know the quarterback Kyle wants, and we all know what he likes.
When do the captains get announced?
You said what?
When do the captains get announced?
I don't remember when the captains get announced, but I can tell you right now, Brock Purdy will probably be one.
But dollars to donuts, I bet you he's one. And after the fact that they passed Trey up, considering he was announced the starter last season, it is so glaring that he's just he hasn't got the team's respect. No one's behind him. The staff isn't behind him. Please,
very true.
Release the kid and let him flourish somewhere else where someone believes in him. I want the kid to succeed, but in this organization, it isn't.
It's not going to work. And I'm with you. I'm with you in ways you can't imagine. The reason being is that you don't believe in the kid. You're not putting shit around him to help him succeed. Yeah. At the end of the day, it was really funny how we were run heavy as fuck in the first 2 games of the season last year. And Trey gets injured.
And then on a dime,
when Jimmy comes in, we start throwing the ball. When Brock comes in, we start doing the same shit we were doing with Jimmy. So that's why I said the playbook is completely different. But the thing is you
turn so quick.
It shouldn't be. Why? Because Trey can do the same shit that they could do. And he gives you a piece of your offense that you have not had since you have been here, which is somebody who can complete a deep ball. The best deep ball thrower we've had since Kyle Shanahan has been in the building has been CJ fucking Beathard.
Yeah.
That's literally the dude that's the biggest arm on our team.
But I don't think the deep ball is a massive area of our game. It's always short to intermediate.
No, yeah, it is.
Intermediate is the.
It is short to intermediate throws. It's always been that with Kyle's offense. But the thing is, the threat of the deep ball still has to be
the defense out.
Exactly. It makes them play more honest because the thing is no team is throwing 50, 60-yard bombs every game. It just doesn't happen. But they have the option to. Certain teams can. With Patrick Mahomes on the field, there's a chance at a bomb being thrown several times a game. It's gonna fucking happen.
Yeah.
So as a defense, you have to figure out what you're doing. And then the other thing with the Patrick Mahomes guy is the fact that you don't know if he's throwing on platform or not. This motherfucker could look like he about to cock back and throw it, but then he just does this and fucking submarines the shit.
Yeah. Well, that was always my thing about Hufanga. Because he plays that aggressive, he has no consideration about the deep ball. I mean, it was 3-4 times he got burned last season. And like I said, I hope his coverage skills have gotten a lot better. But if you are going to play him like this, he needs to be some kind of like shadow linebacker. He shouldn't be in the safety position if this is his game. Because like Adams out of Seattle. Is it Adams? The Seattle kid that got injured last year. He's blitzes all the time. He came from
Jamal Adams.
Jamal Adams.
Oh God, he can't stay on the field to save his life.
Yeah, well, like you say, with his blitz skills, he is ridiculously good. But to me, he's a linebacker. Like he's not a safety.
Yeah. So here's the thing, really quick, because there's a couple of things in the chat that I did want to address. I saw some people saying some things. Right here. If Purdy struggles at the start of the season, do you think Kyle will pull him for Trey or Sam? No. Let me tell you something. Purdy has the longest leash on this team out of any of those quarterbacks. I'm going to tell you right now, Kyle will ride with Purdy for a minimum of 8 more games before he pulls him. And in those 8 games, Purdy has to look bad. And I'm not talking about maybe an interception here. I'm talking horrible. He's going to have to just look like the 7th-round pick that he was. Like, he's going to have to basically play like you would anticipate Mr. Irrelevant to actually play. Because what he did last year was a fucking anomaly. I don't think there's ever been a quarterback picked last that put up the stats that kid did. Now, I'm not saying by any means he's fucking Tom Brady, but I can just tell you right now, he's a lot better than most of the other quarterbacks in the fucking league. There are starters in this league that don't have half the talent that Purdy has. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Well, last season they didn't say it was the after the Falcons game. Yeah. We didn't get our ass in the game with the offensive stuff.
Fact.
I think it's going to be a little different this year with Steve Wilks. I think he's going to take a little bit of time to settle in. I think we might drop a couple of points.
Yeah.
But as soon as he starts getting into this, especially like with Bosa out of the camp, especially when say about week 4 or 5, he gets to grips of it, and then it's all guns blazing. You are in for some smacks off this defense.
Yeah. Now here's the thing. He said Kyle never said Purdy was a starter, but we can imply that based on what he said about the starters not playing. But Kyle is stringing everybody along. Like Kyle does this all the time. But what I'm going to tell you about that is it doesn't like I am of the mindset, flat out, period, that Purdy is our starter, barring a setback. It's just everything that he does, all of the calculated steps that Kyle Shanahan takes to do what he does, to say what he says, and how he moves over the past couple of years, just watching him, I know, for me, I say this with all truth and honesty, I know what Kyle is, and I know what he does like to do, and I know the type of quarterback that he likes to have on the field. His quarterback is Kirk Cousins. That is his favorite quarterback. And who's close to Kirk Cousins on this team? Brock Purdy. That is literally why you see Purdy standing on the field as the starter, taking reps with the ones. That's why he said Purdy is him. Now, here's one thing that I did want to address. And I'm going to need Kyle Shanahan to get his head out of his motherfucking ass. And I'd say that to his face. Stop comparing Jimmy Garoppolo to any 49er great. Stop it. You saying that Jimmy Garoppolo was the best quarterback we had since Steve fucking Young is blasphemous.
He needs to keep Steve Young out of his mouth.
Don't ever put Steve Young or Joe Montana in the same sentence as Jimmy Garoppolo. You know why? Jimmy Garoppolo got 2 rings. You know why he got 2 rings? He's a fucking backup. He didn't do shit. You know why Steve Young only talks about 1 fucking ring? Because those other rings don't mean shit to him until he got one for his fucking self.
Yep.
So don't stop putting Jimmy. Stop. And my thing is, quit dick riding this man. For what? He gave you 1 full season. 1. And he didn't even do everything that season. Our defense was fucking stellar. In that Saints game that everybody lauds him for, do you know if Emmanuel Sanders doesn't throw that touchdown, we lose? Anybody think about that?
Mm-hmm.
Just saying, it's a fact.
Really?
Do you know that if he throws? Do you know that if George Kittle doesn't make that spectacular play on a 3-4 yard fucking pass, if Kittle doesn't make that play and get face mask and drag 3 people down the fucking field with him, lose that game?
Mm-hmm.
Anybody think about that? Those are realities. Those are facts. And you can't dispute that. But we got to love this man. We got to put him on this magical fucking – you got to erect a fucking statue outside of Levi's for this guy? For doing nothing? Come on, man. He never did enough. We couldn't get over the fucking hump with the guy. That's the end of it. You cannot in any way, shape, or form tell me that this dude is that fucking great because he's not. And though the Raiders are loving him right now and everything's going to be great, let me explain something to you people. The Raiders lucked out yesterday. You know why? Because Aiden O'Connell looked damn good. Now, Aiden O'Connell can continue to look good. If he can continue to look good, that bodes well for the Raiders. You know why? You're going to need him at some point because your current starter's going to get injured at some point during the season. It happens all the time. So somebody who could barely stay on the field, who was with you during playoff runs, and I'm saying this in those playoff runs, did nothing. Not a fucking thing. Period. I've said it before. I will say it again. There's not a playoff quarterback with stats like Jimmy Garoppolo that has the wins that he has. It's not possible. It's not. For God's sakes, in the NFC Championship game in 2019, the man just handed the ball to Raheem, the Mosterati Mostert, and watched him run all over the fucking backers. Best quarterbacks is Steve. Fuck out of here with that. Stop it.
But he said the same about Darnold, about the way he can throw a ball. He's the best thrower in franchise history.
Fuck out of here, man.
Damn franchise.
Here's my thing. I get it. You as a coach, you cannot put down your players. You can't. But you can be realistic when you speak. You can't not sound like a fucking dumbass when you talk. You can think before you speak. There are lots of times in my life where I have no filter. I tell people all the time, I am an equal opportunity asshole. I gives a fuck about nobody.
Yeah.
If I trip and fall and you laugh at me, I'm most likely laughing with you because I busted my ass. I don't care. I am an anybody can get it type person. Fat, tall, short, small, black, white, orange, yellow, Martian, Jupiter. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. You're right, huh?
Kyle Shanahan is not above fucking reproach. And when you say blasphemous shit like that, it's right for me to come out and talk shit about you. Stop doing it. It drives me insane. At the end of the day, this was a really, really bad game, one I'd love to forget. But once again, like I said, for the Raiders, that bodes well for you. It does. If Aiden O'Connell continues to play great, now I got my eye on it. If Aiden O'Connell continues to play great, you guys are okay. You don't have no worries. Jimmy's going to go down eventually at some point. We all know this. If O'Connell's going to come in and you can put him behind your starters and hopefully you can find a way to pay Josh. First of all, really quickly, pay running backs. Pay them, people. Owners, stop being assholes about this, bro. Stop. Pay these running backs. These motherfuckers are a real viable part of your offense, and without them, you will suffer. I can tell you right now, Indy gonna look like shit without Jonathan Taylor. They gonna look bad. And I don't care about Amir Abdullah or Zamir White. Josh Jacobs is the real fucking deal. Get these running backs their money and stop fucking them over. It's not cool.
Speaking of the running backs, I am petrified this season that CMC is going to get running at the ground. You know, because I think he was trying to prove a point last season. Like we were doubting the trade. Oh, like he's a touchdown, right? Okay, there you go. Now he's got another one. Now he's got another one. If you play him like that this season, he isn't going to get week 12.
Thank you.
We need TDP to seriously step up. We need some form of rotation in the running back
hey, TDP. What did we hear all about him, James? What did we hear? What did we hear all about him when it came to practice and everything? TDP's looking better. He's getting better in pattern. Where was that shit last night?
Yeah,
he looked like the same Ty Davis Price that we had last year.
Did you
see 3 yards at a maximum, and that's it. We ain't getting nothing else, nothing explosive.
Well, I think a big factor in that though. I was watching Mason, and he got. I think he was fighting for the first down. I think we were 2 yards away, and he got stonewalled. And he's trying to fight against 4 Raiders.
4 people.
Fucking linemen are just stood there looking at him. I'm going, well, you're fighting for a position on the team. Go and fucking help him. Get in like a rugby scrum and push him forward.
There it is.
What the fuck is going on?
That's the whole point. That's what you do as the O-line. The O-line should be, if you see a guy struggling, there's 5 people, you know what you do? You run up right behind that guy and you push. You use your legs, you use your power, you just keep fucking pushing. You can do that. That's legal.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with you. Yeah, that O-line looked bad, man. It just like last night was just, I watched that game. I was like, this is pathetic. You know, my wife was like, babe, what's going on? I'm like, it's bad. It's bad. This ain't right.
I was about 2 hours into a couple of podcasts last night, and I was trying to think to myself, 5 players that impressed me. I got the punt returner, the undrafted kid.
Ronnie Bell.
No,
you said undrafted?
Oh, the undrafted kid, I think he was. Jennings, is it? No, I'm not sure. He got about 40. He got a 40-yard run before he got called back.
Oh, Deshaun Jameson. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, Jameson. A lot of people liked him.
I think he's going to be some kind of.
Yeah, he might be all right.
Another kid that impressed me, who I didn't think had anything to do with this NFL team, was Ambry Thomas. The first 3 drives, he was knocking everything away. There was nothing coming. It was like no fly zone near him. Yeah. Third one, I'm really starting to struggle to get into thinking who. Ronnie Bell.
I'm going to say Ronnie Bell. He looked all right. I'm not going to be mad at Ronnie Bell.
Yeah, I was fuming after that interception, but on the other hand, he's getting thrown over the middle, and he's worried about what's going to hit him as well. But I'm really struggling for a list of 5 people.
It's not it. We're squeezing for it, but I'm gonna get you out of here, James. I gotta get this. I'm gonna get CJ on, and then after I get CJ on, I'm gonna rock. But hey, man, appreciate you for hanging out with me. You are more than welcome anytime, good brother. And appreciate you in the comments, man. Great comments, great commentary.
Love, man. Much love.
All right. We're gonna bring in CJ Gray. What's going on, CJ?
What's going on, Dion?
Man.
That's about what I had.
I believe the floor to you, man. Express yourself, bro. This is like NWA. Express yourself, man.
The assessment on Trey Lance as far as a prospect moving forward in the NFL, I don't know if we got a determination on that yet because there was a lot going on in yesterday's game. But as far as being a starting quarterback for us, man, that ship looks like, man, they're pulling up the anchor and the ship is starting to sail away and somebody's going to have to run and jump on that thing before it's gone. And I think that's kind of where, I guess, way I could describe the Trey Lance situation. Because I understand there's rust. He ain't played in 11 months. I understand he's behind the second team offensive line that's not protecting him very well, and the clock is sped up. I understand these things, but the things that concerned me beyond that was when the rush came, he had a problem avoiding the rush. And then he doesn't look like he has really the athleticism from a horizontal sideline to sideline standpoint to really run away from anybody. And when he throws on the run, it looks clunky and uncomfortable when he's trying to throw on the run. It's like he's running, he's got to gather it, and then it looks real mechanical and clunky when he throws it on the run and stuff like that. So it's just that secondary action, athletic playmaking stuff, backyard stuff. I just don't see it. He looks like kind of more or less like maybe a Jameis Winston or a Josh Freeman from Tampa Bay back in the day, as far as his what I would describe his horizontal athleticism, avoid the rush type of ability is. So he has to pretty much develop as a pocket passing quarterback. And as of right now, he's kind of far away from doing that, far enough away in the sense of being able to start for the 49ers, because we demand that you hit your back foot, you throw the ball out, time and rhythm. Like Aiden O'Connell yesterday, man, there was a lot of plays where he'll hit his back foot, boom, the ball is out on time, on rhythm, with accuracy, with pace. And from that standpoint, I just don't see that from Trey consistently right now, good enough for him to be able to start for our team. Not saying that he can't be good moving forward in the league, but we have to kind of now, as a fan base, move away from we need to start Trey Lance and not start Brock Purdy. We're going to have to come off of that now. We're just going to have to accept what it is.
Yeah, a lot of people don't understand that part. And I don't understand why. I still support Trey Lance. I still think that he definitely can be a starter in this league. He just needs to ration the time. But I mean, I come to grips with that reality that Kyle Shanahan is putting on Brock Purdy and Trey Lance is a bit of an afterthought.
Yeah,
and it's only because he doesn't. To be honest with you, can I say that Trey Lance would be better with our starter? Yeah. I think it would be a lot better with our starter. The reason being, there is a little bit of an echo. I don't know. Maybe if you move while I don't know. Let me see. Okay, now there's no. I don't know why there was a feedback. There's no. I don't know. Whenever you mute, there's no feedback. But whenever, But really quickly, because I want you to have your time. For me, it's simple. Trey Lance, you're relegated to backup duties. Brock is the starter. That's that. I would love for Trey Lance to start. I would love for him to be that guy. But if yesterday was any indication of what we have, it's not looking good. And the kid is going to have to find a way to be able to rally those backups, to get those guys to do what they need to do, because that's why I stated I'd say it's probably like 60-40, and the 60 on the O-line and 40 on Lance. You have to be more decisive. You have to get that ball out quicker. But then at the same time, when you have a trash-ass O-line in front of you, as a quarterback, know your situation. Do I have time to make decisions and properly get through my reads? Do I have that 4 seconds that I'm truthfully needing to be allotted to do what I need to do? No? Okay. And when I step back, then when my foot hits from whatever drop I'm in, this ball's got to go. I don't care where it goes, but it's got to get the fuck out of my hands, because other than that, I'm in trouble. And it didn't look like he understood that. Because once again, like I said, the reason I'm not going to make this a full indictment on him is because he's playing with backups. And when you're playing with nothing but backups against starters for another team, for the opposing team, you're not going to look as great. But in that same vein, you still got to be more decisive. You still got to get that ball out quicker. You still have to have better decision making. You had 2 quarters to show everybody something. The touchdown, you got lucky because that bounced off the hands. So basically, he threw 3 interceptions when you look at it. But for me, I just need him to be better, man. I really would. If he comes out in the next game, they give him 2 more quarters, get out there and show him. Rally those dudes. Know who's going to start. Bring them all together. Hey, man, look, y'all helping yourselves as well as helping me. Let's help each other. You got to say something to make sure to get these guys to be on your side and to win with you. But you can't continually just sit there and go, well, went out there and did what I could. It is what it is. No, get better about it. Be smarter and make better decisions. But you go right ahead, bro.
All right. Just come off mute. It's yeah, I agree with what you said there. And I understand that his situation wasn't favorable with the backup team. I understand that with the offensive line, but like I said before, when they drafted Trey Lance, the whole idea, the premise was they was going to get somebody, Justin Fields, Josh Allen, or Lamar. I mean, well, Lamar Jackson's an alien, but I'm just talking about to the extent of until you are able to throw from the pocket, that you have this athleticism to get away from the rush. You have to extend plays, to be a high-level playmaker, and stuff like that. But he just looks like a traditional court. Ultimately, outside of when he takes off and runs straight ahead, north and south, he kind of just looks like he just looks like a regular traditional quarterback from that standpoint. And so he doesn't have as much benefit to rely on athletic gifts to get away from the rush or extend plays and be a backyard player until he gets that other part of his game to catch up with it. He just doesn't have it. And I don't think us as the fan base, the 49ers organizationally, or anybody that scouted Trey understood what his speed horizontally, basically to get away from the rush, what that looks like at an NFL level versus going against your North Dakota State opponents that he had in FCS. And so I just don't think that was properly evaluated. And I think that's really the most unfortunate part of it, because in the Miami game last year, now granted, Brock Purdy had better weapons, of course. He had better weapons to throw it to. But Miami came after him with that blitz, man. Came after him with that haymaker. And Brock Purdy was back there making people miss and extending the play and then hitting somebody else and stuff like that. And it's counterintuitive with him being the 7th round pick and Trey Lance being the 3rd overall pick. That 2 first-round picks was given up. But Brock Purdy that part of his game is better than Trey Lance's. And it's hard to say that, and it's hard to come to that conclusion, but Brock Purdy, outside of outright arm strength to hit things in tight windows and throw it 30 yards down the field outside of numbers, those are only 2 attributes that Trey Lance has that Brock Purdy doesn't have. And every other which way I can measure a quarterback, Brock Purdy is just better than him. And we have to come to the realization of that. And I'm part of the problem too. I haven't seen him play in 11 months. I've been only able to drink the Kool-Aid of the people calling at the practices and stuff like that. But man, his release is much better and all of this other stuff. But he needs more time. He needs far more time to be ready to be able to start for the 49ers. And I don't know if he's going to be afforded that time.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be afforded that myself. I don't. I think it's a situation of them doing what they need to do. I can honestly tell you the nightmare I have is we have shit for a season and Kirk Cousins becomes our damn quarterback next year. That's a nightmare to me. Because at the end of the day, Kirk Cousins is just a better Jimmy Garoppolo. That's all he is. He can actually complete a deep pass. Here's the problem. While a lot of people do believe that we win the Super Bowl with Kirk Cousins, I don't. You know why? Kirk Cousins been in Minnesota for how many years and ain't won shit? Kirk Cousins disappears when the lights are on. When the bright lights are shining down on him, he gets scared. He runs away. He don't know what to do. So I definitely don't want that to be there, but it kind of is what it is. But I'll give you the last word, and then I'm gonna get up out of here.
Well, the last word on that is the Kirk Cousins thing is a conundrum for me because Case Keenum had that Minnesota Vikings team in a title game appearance, and we obviously have gone on to see what Case Keenum is as a quarterback, which is not very good. And Kirk Cousins hasn't been able to advance this team, that Vikings team, beyond what Case Keenum was doing with the team. And as much as Kirk creates all these stats season after season, at the end of the day, it doesn't produce any results. I just know if it's a primetime game or if it's a playoff game, Kirk Cousins ain't going to show up. And when the moment is big and you need Kirk to make a play, he's just not going to make it. And there's just enough time and data to track that. But the problem that we have is that I don't know if Brock is truthfully a guy, his size, stature, arm strength, and so forth. I don't know I just know he's the best option right now, but I don't know if he is a good enough overall option. And if it proves that proves to be true, 2024, we're going to have Kirk Cousins. And then it's going to be bad because we got to pay him and we're going to jettison talent and stuff in exchange for paying him. Or we're just going to continue to run Brock out there and then we only can run Brock out there for so much time because he's on a 4-year deal and you're going to have to re-sign him eventually. And so what happens then? There's a lot of unknowns and there's a lot of scary things going on with this quarterback position overall. And then there's secondary outside of this quarterback thing finishing up. Man, our depth behind those starters, man, that's concerning.
I said it myself. I'm not. If our starters go down, I am not comfortable right now. No, I'm not comfortable at all. Maybe if we miss one guy, okay. But if we miss more than 2 or 3 people, because what's the number one thing with Kyle? Since he's been here, we've been in the top 10 of most injured teams. Top 10 every year. I think COVID, we were number 1. We set a record in 2020 for the most money on the bench. Millions of dollars just sitting there doing nothing. So, with that being said, we're going to get on up out of here, man. CJ, appreciate you for hopping on and expressing yourself, brother. Always good to see you. Nothing but love, man. Appreciate everybody in the chat that came in and hung out, and everybody just in there just, bringing up comments and everything. Everybody stating exactly what it is. At the end of the day, I stick to what I said. It's a very simple situation. Trey, you have to do better with what you have. That's all you can do. There's nothing else that we can really say. But what I will tell you is that O-line got to get better too. They looked bad last night. So very, very big things for us to work on. Our backup offensive line is shit. They need to get better. Trey Lance, you have to be quicker and more decisive about your decisions. You cannot be indecisive. You cannot take unnecessary sacks. And this next game that you play, you must go out there and ball. You must make everyone forget what they saw versus the Raiders. Because though you had that touchdown, we all know that was pure luck. Yes, we all like a little bit of luck, but we like luck for winning us games. And then the other thing, really quick, Jake Moody, get it together. You should not be booming 60-yarders in practice and missing 38-yard chip shots. Hooking shit left and right. What? No. 3rd round pick? You, sir, get it together. Thank y'all so much for joining us, man. Appreciate everybody for coming through and hanging out, man. Nothing but love to y'all. Yeah, Moody does have us. Moody. That's a good one right there. I like that. And if you remember, Turdo, there was a quarterback that was drafted, and that was his last name. And he went to the Minnesota Vikings. I think he came out of USC. His name was USC or somewhere else. His name was John David Booty. But yes, that got me fucked up. But nah, man, I'm gonna tell you right now. I appreciate all of y'all for showing up, hanging out with your boy, man. Just had to let out a little frustration. Everybody have a blessed day, a blessed week. And this next week is coming. We just got to get back in the lab and get back to it. That's all I can say. Everyone stay blessed, stay faithful, stay up. And I'm out this joint. Peace.